Hi, and welcome to This Week in East Brunswick, the Township's own news and information program. Today we'll show a special preview of Sports Talk, John Megliaro's interview with perhaps the world's greatest hurdler, Renaldo Nehemiah, and his coach, Jean Poquet. Our regular features include Health Facts with Mary Freeman Corey from the Association for Retarded Citizens, Fashion Focus with custom clothing designer Mary Louise Cooper, Consumer Aware with Adrian Eisner's tips on shopping for a credit card, plus our Township Council review. First, here's a look at Channel 8's schedule for next week. Monday morning at 10, it's Look Great, Feel Great with Lenore Kulik and Aerobics with Floor Work. At 10:30, Target with Paula Durant discussing specialized foster care. Tuesday at 7:30 p.m., Let's Talk Health with Ken Shalhoub focuses on scoliosis with Dr. Samuel Laufer. Wednesday at 3 p.m., it's Stories from East Brunswick Librarians. Then at 7:30, Spotlight on Education's topic is kindergarten. And we'll be back next Thursday at 7 and 8 with more This Week in East Brunswick.
Hi, I'm John Megliaro, host of Sports Talk for This Week in East Brunswick. I'd like to share with you now a few minutes of an interview I had with Renaldo Nehemiah, one of the world's greatest track performers. Let's talk about the now, the present. You left football, and what did you have to do to get back into that track state of mind again? Obviously, there was a training aspect that had to be undertaken once again, but mentally, how do you get ready for it again?
Well, I think initially I had to accept or face the fact, if in fact I really wanted to come back. Winning the battle and all of a sudden realizing that it is now a reality, there were two different things. And so the first, I'd say, 2 months in my preparation to come back, it was touch and go. I mean, my body was not responding. My mind said one thing, my body said another. And there were several occasions where I just felt maybe I just couldn't do it. I didn't think I was old, but I think I had become so used to the football mentality as far as training. Nowhere as intense as a world-class hurdler would have to train. That I wasn't willing to do that. I had been on hiatus for 4.5 years from that type of training, and it was killing me. And there were many times where I just walked off the track, you know. So in an effort to finally get it together, I had called Jean, and we put together a long, slow, extensive program, and where you just bit off a little bit more each day, where the times were very attainable. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary, but it would be a long, slow return. Aside from that, the most major obstacle I had was my flexibility. Standing around and taking the blows that I really didn't notice every day until I got out trying to run track, I realized that I wasn't the flexible hurdler that I used to be, so I had to go through a retraining program of muscle memories, doing different things there. And then I had to shed 16 pounds, and my entire 4 years with the 49ers, I was always too light for them. So taking the Shaklee's protein, eating 3 full meals a day, and lifting weights, etc., constantly, always stuffing my face just to maintain 188 pounds or whatever. And then all of a sudden now having to practice some anorexic techniques, basically. Myself looking slender, but having to diet. You know, and right now I drink the Diet Cokes and I eat fruit for lunch, and dinner is my only meal just to get back down to my weight. So my body really didn't know what was going on. You trained me 4 ways one way, and now you're telling me to do something else. So that compiled with that, and then being away from the sport and reconditioning the entire body as one was the greatest adjustment.
Was the approach, Gene, to take it one meet at a time and one day at a time?
Yeah, the approach initially was forget meets, period. Let's just take a program and a philosophy behind the program, which is a strength-based program, which doesn't come about quickly. You can't precipitate a training program when it's a strength-based program. As he said, you start with very attainable times. You cover a lot of distance, and then you let the normal conditioning effect dictate when you progress the program. So he started, basically, I would say, at the beginning of January in 1986, and spent 3 months of doing nothing but just going out on the roads and jogging, and maybe tried to go to a track once or twice, but basically spent those 3 months. And then in March, we started to put together a training program that included the track, but once again, it was a strength-based program. And we're now 13 months later, and I think that aspect of the program has been pretty much put together, and there's good grounds to now continue that through 1988 and beyond. So the next step in the process was then the hurdling, and that's just recently begun, the mechanical aspects.
Yeah. Was there ever a time where the two of you sat down and said, okay, let's be honest with one another. If I don't think, Renaldo, that I can do it, I'm going to say something, or Gene, if I don't see you at this certain point in 3 months, that maybe we should forget it? I mean, was there ever a cutoff date?
My understanding was that Renaldo was not concerned about winning races as much he was concerned about being able to achieve a level of performance that would satisfy his expectations. And if at some point in time he came to the realization that he couldn't match that level of performance, then he didn't want to be anything else than Renaldo Nehemiah the way he used to be. And even if it meant that he could continue to win races, if he wasn't happy with his performance regardless of the competition, there was a clear understanding on both of our parts that he'd pack it and wouldn't do it because he's not that kind of a competitor. There were no cutoff dates set because we knew the road back was going to take a long time, and to arbitrarily say if we're not doing something in 6 months when maybe in our hearts we knew it might take a year before the indicators would even set in. So is that a fair statement?
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. We didn't want the punch-drunk boxer syndrome, basically.
That's good analogy.
In my case, I guess I set a standard that was so high that even right now, the fans, the public, and the media only expect that level of performance all the time. And that's kind of tough for even myself not to want to continue to reach. So we just felt that we knew it would take some time. We didn't know how long. But if in fact that the clock doesn't lie and the writing is on the wall, we weren't going to fool or mislead one another. And if I couldn't in fact maintain that level of performance, then we'd let it be a happy ending, a successful chapter that was closed, and not put a cloud over Renaldo Nehemiah in hurdling and track and field, because I want to be remembered, hopefully, as one of the best hurdlers, or a great hurdler, whatever you want to describe it. And the last thing I want to do is struggle, and winning races isn't what it's all about. I think that what made me successful was that I was very consistent in my performance. Wasn't one day up, the next day down. It was over a period of years that I dominated in my consistency. And we figure if you're very consistent, that will get you the wins. We don't run for a place, we run for time. Each day that we're going out and training, we're starting to see it come back. We don't know at what phase, because we can't compare 1981 to 1987. I'm different, I'm older, I'm stronger. There's still a lot of things that are exciting us. I'm running faster times than I did back then when I was supposedly hot, and now, after 4.5 years in such a short time now, I'm starting to run times that I can't believe. But I just want to, my main reason for coming back is not, of course, is to be the best again if I possibly can, but also to let people know that you can take time away, and if there's any way to measure physical talent, or great ability, there's so many people saying he's a great athlete or she's a great athlete. But how do you really test it? Once again, it's opinionated. But I think in the long run, when you think of me, hopefully I can say they will be able to say I was a complete athlete. Not too many people would go to number one and then walk away from it to do something else, to expose their body to get the possible injuries every day, and then try to come back after that period of time with the likes of the competition I have today. And then hopefully when it's all said and done, they'll say, well, this guy conquered all the odds. He defied the odds, and he wanted to prove that he could do something. Basically, I'm a risk taker. I love dares. I go against the odds. I mean, every time I compete, no matter what I was doing, even when I was the best back then, everyone never thought I could do it. I mean, the 13-second barrier was unheard of. No one will ever do it. And I did it once officially, but I've done it several times unofficially. I did it in high school. So, you have everything to gain and nothing to lose at this point. And that's basically my approach. Just because no one else has done it doesn't mean it's impossible. And and I will try it, and I will put my best foot forward, and hopefully 9 times out of 10 I'll be successful.
To see the rest of John Magliero's interview with Renaldo Nehemiah and his coach, Gene Poquette, tune in Sports Talk, February 10th at 7:30 p.m. Coming up next, Health Facts with Mary Freeman Corey.
March is Mental Retardation Month, a time set aside, in particular, for heightened public awareness about mental retardation and about programs and services available to persons with mental retardation and to their families. 1 in every 10 families is affected by mental retardation, a lifelong problem with learning. To reach even more of these families this year, the Association for Retarded Citizens and Johnson & Johnson have teamed up in a campaign which will reach communities across America. Here in Middlesex County, you'll see displays in your local supermarket, your public libraries, where you work, where you play. The displays will link the ARC and J&J logo and bear the message, "Help Retarded Children Grow." The ARC Raritan Valley chapter, which serves all of Middlesex County, stands wholeheartedly behind this partnership and behind this message. While we continue to serve as advocates for persons with mental retardation in obtaining services, we have expanded our role, and now we provide much-needed programs as well. Some of these programs may be familiar. For example, recreation like Special Olympics, a theater troupe comprised entirely of persons with developmental disabilities, special Saturday and Friday night social programs. The local ARC's Family Support Program enables 25 Middlesex County families to take a break or respite from caring for their family member with mental retardation. The program, in its 2nd year now, offers parents time to spend with their other children, to do necessary chores, to take a break simply for rest or relaxation. Of integral importance to all of us in the field of mental retardation is an emphasis on prevention. Some forms of mental retardation are entirely preventable. One of these is fetal alcohol syndrome, caused by the ingestion of alcohol during pregnancy. The slogan, used nationally, "You can't drink to your baby's health," says it all. There is no safe level. During March 1987, officials throughout Middlesex County will issue proclamations of March as Mental Retardation Month. Awareness of mental retardation is the first step, both in prevention efforts and in the quest to arm persons with mental retardation to lead ever more productive lives. Let Mental Retardation Month be the beginning of your support for these efforts too. For more information, call the Association for Retarded Citizens Raritan Valley Unit 846-2586. I'm Mary Freeman Corey, and this has been Health Facts.
Hi there, I'm Mary Louise Cooper, custom clothing designer. Welcome today to Fashion Focus. What is the difference between a custom couture design and a ready-to-wear garment? We have examined fabric selection and couture sewing techniques in previous shows, these being 2 very important aspects of custom clothing design. As far as most people are concerned, including myself, fit is the most important aspect of a custom garment. Janet Mackin, who grew up in East Brunswick, was good enough to visit with us today, and we'll show a few of the steps necessary for a custom garment. This is a sketch we have targeted to show today. From this sketch, we want to get to the finished muslin. This can be done in a number of ways, the most popular being draping on the body or draping on the form. In Janet's case, we have draped on the form. Here is a finished muslin and what you should look for. On Janet's muslin, you can see that the princess line dart falls at the apex of the bust, not on either side of it. The shoulder area fits comfortably, which allows the lapel to lie smoothly. Jacket and sleeve hems are the most appropriate for her size. Too long can make a look seem incompatible with the woman. As seen here, the side seams do fall on her side seams. Here we have the finished jacket completed in black cashmere with vermicelli hand beading. It is paired with a cream knit cashmere skirt. Quite a different look with a fit just for her. Whether it be ready to wear or custom clothing design, the fitting aspects we spoke of today do hold true. Until next time, this is Mary Louise Cooper saying good night.
Hello, and welcome to Consumer Aware. I'm Adrienne Eisner, Director of the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. Today we're going to be talking about shopping for a bank card. Of all the credit cards available today, one of the most widely used is the bank card. Over 72 million people in the United States now have at least one bank card. Yet it is doubtful that many of these people comparison shopped before selecting one. Instead, consumers tend to look only at their convenience. The advantages, of course, are many. Bank cards can be used to purchase a variety of items in person, over the phone, or by mail. They also provide consumers with a pre-approved line of credit and generally require no collateral. In addition, credit users have a choice of repayment options and monthly credit statements added to the ease of their record keeping. There are differences between bank cards which consumers should examine carefully. Each institution sets its own annual fee, the annual interest rate up to legal limits, and the maximum line of credit. For consumers, the cost of using a bank card depends primarily on their spending habits and bill-paying practices, but other factors also make a difference. Let's look at them. First of all, the annual fee. Among the 25 largest issuers of bank cards, fee for a standard Visa or MasterCard range from $12 to $25 and between $20 and $50 for premium cards. Some institutions still offer no-fee cards, but these are less common today. Another thing to look at is the annual interest rate. Rates vary depending on the issuer and the state laws where the institution is based. Standard cards generally average from 15% to 21.9%. Those for premium cards tend to be a little lower because these customers have proven to be better credit risks. They generally range from 14.9% to 20%. The other important thing to look at is the grace period. This is the time between the date of the purchase and the date the bill must be paid to avoid interest charges, also known as the float. Most cards come with a 25 to 30-day grace period on purchases. However, some institutions charge from the date the purchase is posted on the account, and others from the actual date of purchase with no grace period at all. Switching to a no-fee bank card can be attractive for credit users who pay off their account in full each month. However, some no-fee cards could end up being more costly in the end. No-fee cards often come with no grace period and may carry a higher interest rate. For credit users who carry a monthly balance, a switch to a card with a lower interest rate could make good sense, providing that there is a large enough difference in rates between the present card and the other one. How many bank cards does an individual need? Carrying several makes it harder to keep track of spending and increases the risk of credit card theft. With a bit of effort, you can probably find one with all the right features for you at the right price. But remember, it pays to do some checking and shopping before you make the decision on what bank card you will select for your use. If you have any further questions, please contact us at the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. We're located in the Municipal Building. We're open from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. The telephone number is 390-6954. Thank you for joining me on Consumer Aware. I hope you'll join me again next time.
The agreement between the New Jersey Turnpike Authority and Mayor William Fox was disapproved by the Township Council at Tuesday night's action meeting. The proposed agreement was the result of over a year of negotiating between the Township and the Turnpike Authority. According to Fox, the settlement would have forced the Turnpike to install sound barriers in East Brunswick along the widened roadway. The agreement would have also required the Turnpike to pay fair market value for homes most severely disturbed by the expansion, and would have reduced the number of added lanes from 3 to 2. Fox called the agreement unprecedented and urged the council to support it on behalf of the township. The mayor said without the agreement, the township would have nothing.
I think that the argument that somehow the Turnpike Authority is going to do all this without an agreement on the part of the Township of East Brunswick is rather naive. They're certainly not going to agree to offer to purchase the additional homes near the right-of-way. They're certainly not going to continue to offer to purchase homes where the noise levels exceed the Federal Highway Administration standards. And they're certainly not going to offer to compensate people who might be impacted by the construction of whatever noise abatement gets built behind their homes. If the council does what it seems to be ready to do tonight, they will have done a terrible disservice to the residents of our community. They will have done a disservice to the ad hoc committee. They will have wasted approximately $75,000 of money. The waste is not in the consultants and the lawyer and the attorney who was hired. The waste is in throwing that all down the tubes, because it was the presence of that attorney, it was the presence of those professionals that got the Turnpike to be able to conceive of entering into an agreement that goes far beyond anything they've ever done up and down the road.
William Kirk was the only councilman to agree with the mayor. The other Republican councilmen, Jack Sinagra, Louis Becker, Joseph Hudak, and Council President Russell Walker voted against the agreement. The opposing councilman called the agreement weak and said it would not be legally enforceable. Sinagra said that East Brunswick should continue to negotiate with the Turnpike for a better settlement.
If the Turnpike would have made us an offer which I couldn't refuse, I'd probably feel differently than I do now, because I really feel we can refuse this settlement. I think East Brunswick, and this is not a political statement, I know the mayor believes this is the best we can do, and this is not council versus administration. I think this is just common sense for East Brunswick. If this was a one-year construction project, if this was a tightly knit settlement, I might have different feelings. But I feel East Brunswick has suffered long enough with all the problems we have to subject this town to 5 years of a construction project that we've had very little control over, of a settlement at best is vague. I really can't support this settlement.
Before the decision, during the public portion, 14 citizens spoke to the council. Members of the Citizens Ad Hoc Committee urged the council to accept the agreement. President of the committee, Edward Cohen, said without the agreement, East Brunswick would be powerless against the Turnpike. He said all concessions made by the Turnpike are not required by law and could be taken away without a ratified contract. Most residents who spoke, however, asked the council to reject the agreement. Rose Sackle, president of the Middlesex County Citizens Conservation Council, told the township not to be intimidated by the Turnpike. She said the town must continue to fight to protect the environment.
We either have people who have lost courage and don't understand the meaning of fighting for your hometown, who don't understand that American people are made of sterner stuff. I certainly, as a woman who has always worked and cared about my town, do not understand the attitudes that I've been hearing this evening, that we're afraid we have to accept this because we're not going to get anything. Surely we're not talking about grown people with intelligence and with minds that are able to accomplish great things. Where has all the character and a love of life and love of home gone. I don't understand.
If the Township Council cannot renegotiate a tighter agreement with the Turnpike Authority, East Brunswick could decide to sue the authority in an effort to stop the expansion. That's all for this week. Thanks for watching.